temperature is abnormal. Please check.
Authenticated. Please wear a face mask. Please wear a face mask. Please wear a face mask. Authenticated. Abnormal temperature. Abnormal temperature. Abnormal temperature.
Abnormal temperature. Abnormal temperature. Abnormal temperature. Please wear a mask. Please wear a mask. Please wear a mask.
Good morning everyone. Welcome to the next training. Today we're going to talk about the fever camera. My name is Lucas. I'm a technical manager in FORTUS. I hope you can hear me well. If you do, just type it in on web chat please. We have a quiet audience here, 53 people watching, brilliant. We're just going to wait a few seconds more just to get everyone signed up, make sure everyone's in. Plenty of registered for this training. Fever camera, it's a big deal these days, I would say. We have so many of them sold already. But we're going to talk about what that camera can do today. I'm going to present the camera, how to configure the camera properly. Obviously the environment is the most important. I'm going to talk about that as well. So I'll just check the log. All okay, grand, perfect. So if you all can hear me, I can see me. I'm gonna show you the camera. There it is. This is our camera. Dual lens, thermal, and just a 2 megapixel. Obviously the latest compression 265. You have some fly leads as back connectors. Obviously 2 alarm inputs, 2 alarm outputs. You have the power 12 volts DC or PoE if you like. What you call it, audio input and output. There's also built-in speaker, so you can announce the message from that speaker if the temperature is too high. Of course, there's SD card slots if you like to, and a reset button underneath. So if you like to reset the camera for some reason manually, you can do it with that reset button underneath. Okay, so the camera, it's a 6mm length. I'm gonna show the camera in a second how is it working and how to set it up. The camera, it's size of just a regular NPR camera. If you watched me last week, it's exactly the same size, the same connectors at the back and everything. So it's really handy. It's not heavy, as you know. It's just an ordinary camera, look like it. So I'm just gonna put it on the shelf here, and we're gonna test it in a second. So the camera itself, as I said, is a thermal camera, and is really accurate. I was a little bit skeptic about this camera before. So is a temperature screening camera. So the camera will actually check the temperature of your skin, of the surface of your skin, basically. So it will see what is the temperature. It's really important where you're going to install this camera, just to make sure the camera is in the right position, in the right height and the distance from the object that will be on the front of the camera. Definitely we want to make the environment as much as we can controlled. So the temperature, the air condition if there is any, so don't have the camera on the full blast. I mean the air conditioner on the full blast. So you just need to control the environment as much as you can, the same as the person that will be on the front of this camera to measure the temperature, to screen the temperature you have there. It's really important how you're gonna present somebody on the front of the camera. In the case if that is just in the front door, it might be not accurate as you think, because it's all about the temperature of the surface of the skin. So if someone's walking in from the hot day like today, or from chill out car in their air with an air condition on, the temperature might be not accurate enough. So you need to make sure that the person who's going to walk in on the front of the camera, it will spend enough time in that controlled environment to actually their temperature of the surface of the skin will actually settle down, and you will adjust all the settings then to the environment you have there to pick up that reg plate. Sorry, not reg plate, the temperature. And just talking about the camera, looks exactly the same like the red plate camera, so maybe that's why. All right, we have quite a lot of people now, 74. You're all welcome. I hope you can all hear me well. Time for the questions will be, I would say, at the very end. The same questions regarding the camera, if it's accessible for sale. Of course, you can contact your sales account manager. They will answer all your questions regarding the stock we have. So let's move on to the part where we actually view the camera settings and what that camera can do for us. So just bear with me for 1 minute. I'm just going to change ourselves. There you go. So our temperature screening camera, it's really straightforward. I was really a bit skeptic about this camera at the beginning until I actually get my hands on, because it's really impressive what that camera can do. This is the model number of the camera. As I don't know if you can see it clearly, it's a DS-2TD2617B-6/PA. All right, so this is our camera. If you go to the maintenance, the camera menu, it looks exactly the same like any other camera you ever logged in before. In the system settings, it's important just to make sure the temperature unit, obviously in the Celsius, and distance in meters. So it will be handy for you to set up and adjust the camera and position later on. Of course, the security, any other settings are exactly like for like with other cameras. If you like to test the camera, make sure the camera is showing all the temperature and the phase that's picked up on the front of the camera, you just go to the local settings and make sure all the display rules, display temperature information and so on, they're all checked. By default they're not, so make sure they're all checked here. So if you have them all checked, we're just gonna make sure you save those settings, and like you see in the video and audio, this is our camera here, and we're just gonna go to the body temperature. So in the basic settings, again, there's just the check boxes. You need to make sure they're all checked. Like if you like to send information to your recorder or to the IVMS software, because the camera is fully compatible, even with the I-series recorder, where Deep in Mind recorder will give you that extra features where as you see on the video before, when you can see the mask, if someone's wearing a mask and so on, and announce the audible warning. But even the I-series recorder will do it as well. Just take the temperature information and you can send an email as well as directly from the camera. So the camera could be a standalone system, just connected to the internet. You can send the notifications via email, or send notification in the notifications to the IVMS software, as well as a Hik Connect. Just a simple Hik Connect can do it as well. So it will receive all the notifications with a high temperature. So if you go back to the page here, that's our basic settings. Like you see here, we just enabled the temperature measurement, enable the color temperature. I'm not sure if you really want to go there. It will show that stripe on the right hand side of the thermal camera. It's not really useful, but any other information you like to have that embedded into the stream. So like you see here, as well as the data refresh interval, it's 3 seconds by default, so you can leave it as it is. Body temperature configuration, so when you go to the body temperature configuration, as I see here, that's it, that's my green screen behind me. And so enable phase detection, display temperature, upload capture phase image, so it would send the phase detection actually to the recorder and the IVMS software. Display phase temperature position as well, so all the phases that are currently in that zone you have on front of you, it will pick up the phase and it will try to measure the temperature of the skin. So if you go, you can obviously change those settings to your like. In the case if the distance from the object is higher or lower, you can adjust, or you can adjust the height of the zone you have there. Alarm when the temperature is above. So in this case I just set to 36, so I can show you later on how is the event triggered. In your case, you're just gonna adjust that, I don't know, about 37.5 probably, or 38. Just go back to the basic settings. Just one more setting I forgot about. It's the distance here. The distance, I set 1 meter because my room is quite short, it's not that long as a corridor would be. So usually you're gonna go with 1.5 up to 3 meters distance, I would say. Emissivity, it's 0.98. It's the actual skin surface. If you go back to body temperature configuration and select the camera number 2, in this page you actually see there is a thermal image, and you can adjust the compensation value for the temperature or actual environment temperature. I have set all to auto. It's quite high in my room, like you see here, 25.48. It's almost like a steam room, I know. So linkage methods, that's what is important as well. So obviously I'm in schedule, want to have that armed 24/7 in your case, I would say, and then linkage method. In this case, you can send an email. Notify Civilian Center is another word for push notifications to your IVMS software. Upload to the FTP memory card that is inside your camera. Flashing alarm, yes, there's a LED on the front of the camera. If the alarm is triggered, you can start flashing that LED. The same with the audible warning. The audible warning can be triggered as well. That is, it's actually built into the camera. There's a announcement I can show you in a second. So obviously the trigger alarm outputs, there are two outputs at the camera, and there's a two channels because there's a dual lens camera. They have just a regular camera and a thermal image as well. Once we have all the settings, like you see here, face capture, and we go to the overlay. By default, those cameras are set really good, so it's not much you can you want to change here. You can obviously pick the head shot or half body shot or full body shot, but as I said, I left it by custom and it's perfect. It's just picking up the face as it should be. Shielded region, you don't want to go near there unless you like to cover part of the picture, not to pick up any faces. It could be like second door behind, or you can cover the area that you don't want to be the face won't be picked up from. On the upload feature, the same thing. You don't really want to change any settings here. Leave it as it is. I will show you a cool thing regarding the thermal image, which I would say it's really good to set it up. Once you have selected the camera number 2, which is the thermal image, by default it's just kind of a black and white. White is hot. So if you go to the image enhancement, you can see palettes, and you can see different colors. You can change that. The most popular, I would say, it's a Fusion 1, so it would change the colors of the object on the front of it. I would say I'm gonna leave it on the black and white. White is hot. Other feature is picture in picture. When you select the camera number 1, you can embed the picture of the thermal camera if you like. So this is how it's gonna look like. So the camera would be in the corner, or you can move that around anywhere. I usually leave that as normal, just to have the full picture of whatever happens on the camera number 1. And I like to go to camera channel number 2 and change the picture details overlay. So it's going to use the picture of the first camera and overlay that picture on the thermal camera. So the image will be much clearer, and you can see the sharp objects, and you can see the contours of the object on the front of it. So this is definitely, I will always going to change here. Also make sure that your camera, it's actually just gonna back to the settings, maintenance, and VC resource type. It's set to the body thermometry as well. So once we have the camera set up, as you see, there's not much to it. It's just a few check boxes need to be checked if you like to contain all the information in a stream, all the snapshots been taken. Once you have that done, we're just going to go to the live picture, and like you see, there's 2 cameras listed on the left hand side. If I'll go play, that's it, that's our camera. I'm just going to stop it here for a second. So we have the camera in an environment that is controlled. The temperature doesn't really change. If there's an object on the front of the camera, as I said, you just want to make sure that object is it's quiet enough long time in that control environment. It's not like an entrance to the premises. I know most of the people like to have that in reception, but you always have some sort of room in between, or just a double door maybe, when you can actually use to slow down people coming in. So once we have the camera added in, the camera is fully standalone. It sends notifications to our IVMS software, the same as sending information to our recorder, because I also add that camera to our recorder here. It's an iSeries recorder. Just going to log in here now. So like you see here, it's just the ordinary iSeries NI i2 with 8 channels. I add the camera, both cameras, the thermal and regular image, to that recorder. Once we have the camera added in, we just need to go to the smart events in our recorder. You can do it locally or you can do it via the web browser. And in this page, like you see here, there's a temperature measurement alarm. Schedule 24/7, linked method. I have the notify civilian center. You can send an email as well, trigger any of the outputs of the recorder or the camera itself. As well as you can link that to one of the presets if you have any. So once you have that done, straight away, if your recorder is connected to IVMS software, all notifications will be sent to the IVMS software or via email if you check the email notifications. So once we have that done, as you see here on the recorder, there's not much else needs to be done. We just go to IVMS software. In IVMS software, it's the special version of the software. You can download it from the portal, from the Hikvision portal. So in the IVMS software, we go first to device management. We add your device to your IVMS software. Once you have the software up and running, you can search for online devices. Just click the online devices and it brings up the page with all the listed devices on your network. I already add in my camera and the NVR. So I have 2 devices added in. I change their names. Once I change the names, I go to the group. I like to update the names of my cameras. So usually I would just go to group, NVR in this case, and right click encode and channels and update the camera name, the same with the camera itself. So this is our recorder and a camera added in to the software. Then we'll go to the event configuration. In event configuration, we'll go video event, and like you see here, this is our NVR and IP camera. There's plenty of different events that you don't want to have them interfere or comes up in the alert event center. So in my case, what I've done, I actually just select them all and edit the linkage and uncheck the boxes for all of them, apart from temperature measurement alarm. That only one event I like to have to be with the audible warning, to be triggered with the audible warning and the pop-up window. So if the temperature is too high of the object on the front of the camera, it will pop up on the screen of the IVMS software, but also it will announce the message. And you can upload any of your audio files if you like. If you don't like the built-in into the software alarm sounds, you can change them. There's a list of the alarms you can pick from. I just choose my own in this case, and you can also link the alarm to the camera. So you need to make sure the camera that you amend the settings of, you select the camera as a linked and just click OK. So once you have that done, this is our camera, thermal camera, screen and camera listed. And now we have the same for the second channel of this camera. The same settings. Just go edit linkage, make sure the pop-up and audible warning is enabled. Once we have that done, I also change the priority of those 2 cameras. Like I know if you notice, it's high. You can just change that to any other, like normal, medium, and high. That will allow you to help. That will help you later on in Event Center to filter off those temperature alarms, or just motion alarms if you have some enabled, and if you like to keep them as well. The same I've done for the camera itself. So in this case, it's a bit less of the events that can be triggered, but the most important we're looking for is the temperature measurement picture, and this is both for both channels here. I set it the same way as I've done on the recorder itself. So edit linkage, audible warning, pop-up window. There's a question there. Yes, actually the temperature, it's a 0.5 margin of error, which is quite impressive. I tested with a third-party thermometer and it's actually really, really accurate. The IVMS software, I'll show the version of the IVMS software here. Go to the about, it's a 320102. It's a special version software for an IVMS for a screening camera. You can get that on the Hikvision portal. So if you like to reduce the accuracy of I mean increase the accuracy of the fever camera to pick up to 0.3, you can use the black body. I can show you here within the camera setting just in a second. Just go back there for a second so we can see. And the camera body temperature, you see there's the black body parameters. If you're using that box there to adjust the temperature to make it more accurate, you can obviously enable that checkbox, and you need to point where the black body correction is actually pointing at. Once you have that done, the camera will be more accurate, even up to 0.3 Celsius. So we just go back to the IVMS software once again. So we have our events set up. Once we have them set up, we just go to Event Center. If you go back to the control panel, Event Center is on the bottom. So click that. And here you go. I'm just going to clear this one. And just bear with me for 1 second and I will trigger that event for you.
Lucas, your temperature is too high. Lucas, your temperature is too high.
So there it is. Like you see, it has been triggered. The temperature measurement, as I said, I set to 36, so it would pick it up any temperature higher in this case than 36. We have the picture of the face and the close-up picture as well. If I go with uncategorized events, I also have my thermal image as well. So these are the events, the current events, most recent events that have been triggered. Of course, you can manually send an email or you can handle it. For example, you can just click handle and type it in test and just click OK, and that has been acknowledged. But also I should receive an email with the notification. Like this is an example of an email. The temperature been triggered, 2 snapshots sent from the camera. If you like to look for past events, you can select all the devices that they're supposed to trigger, and you have all the list of different events in this case from the past. Of course, those cameras are live view. As well. So I just put the screen back on. So in the event center, that's the page that is most important. And if you like to have the pop-up message comes up with the audible warning in IVMS software, you can't forget about to enable the pop-up and the audible warning. As you see here, if I mute, it won't announce the message, but it's still pop up with the picture. If I do just one of them, I can do both of them if you like. Like you see here, the camera itself, it's really easy to set it up. There's not much into it apart from just checking the boxes and make sure the distance is right. Of course, as I said, the height is very important, and the distance from 1 meter, maybe 1.5 to up to 3 meters. It depends on the lens you have there. In my case, I have a 6mm. With a 3mm, it would be shorter distance, obviously. So if you have any questions, go ahead. You can ask on the web chat, obviously, on the right hand side there. So some sort of temperature screening cameras like this one here, as I said, is 0.5 accuracy. But if you have that back body box, that will reduce the margin of error to 0.3. It would be even more accurate. But I was really surprised how accurate this camera is. When I had it tested on the previous different cameras, not like this one, temperature screening camera, but just the regular thermal cameras, they weren't as good as this one is, obviously. So if you're looking for any more information, you can always send me an email and ask the question, obviously. Just look at that. Yes, the 4800 temperature measurement IVMS is not the one. The 4800, to me, it's a bit useless for this kind of the camera. I prefer to use the special version of the 4200. All right, I'm just gonna guide you to where you can get that special version. So if you go to Hikvision portal, just make sure on the UK, I'll say. there's the temperature screening in Portal and the product firmware. It's a bit confusing on the Portal sometimes, but yes, that's what it is. And there's IVMS 4200, and that's the latest version for that sort of camera. Of course, camera is compatible with any other camera as well, so you can use for not just for temperature screening camera, but also for ordinary cameras. Oh yes, I promise you to announce the message if when the camera it's actually triggered audible warning. And so there is, and within the camera itself, go to the event. We just need to enable the audio alarm output. And so if the temperature is abnormal, as well as you see here, the flashing alarm light, you can trigger that as well. So it can flash the light for some time. So if we go back to the body temperature and link it method, we have the flashing and the audible warning. So I'm just going to put my microphone down for a second so I can hear the sound of that camera. So there it is. I don't know if you could hear that well. It's a fixed lens. In my case, I have a 6mm. You can also get in 3mm if you like. Camel asked the question if you can upload your own message to the camera. You can upload that to the IVMS software if you like, and trigger that audible message. I have a few if you like to use. So
Temperature is abnormal.
I have
Please
this
check.
one, for example.
Temperature is
maybe this
abnormal.
one.
Please check. Temperature
Or-
is abnormal. Please check.
Or you can just come up with your own. I just use some audible tools to generate those, and you can upload them in the system. I can show you where is this in system configuration. Alarm sound, like you see here, I pick up my own sound here. As I said, the voice only can be changed in the IVMS software. On the camera itself, it's built-in audible warning, unfortunately. So you can always turn it off. So if you have some workstation beside the camera, you can always trigger the audible warning from the camera itself. Sorry, from the IVMS software. John asked a question: how far from the entrance doors to allow temperature? Like you need to make sure that the body temperature, the surface of the skin, it would be settled down. It wouldn't be just like pointing at the entrance. So the air is coming in and out from the building inside out, it will affect your readings. So in this case, you know, you just need to give them a few extra meters just to walk in. And it's brilliant if they could stand up for like at least a second. Usually what I notice there, installers, what they do, they setting up the line on the bottom, on the floor, when everyone is just stopped there for a second, then the readings are much more accurate. Video in motion, there you go. What you can set up in smart events, you can pop up with all normal linkage just like any other camera, full screen monitor on your recorder if you like, send an email, audible warning, trigger any of your alarm outputs of the camera or the recorder itself. Just looking at the questions there, let's Peter, if the room temperature reached 37 degrees, I don't know, to be honest, but it would be hard to test that in my house to see if the temperature would be triggered, because everything that is on the front of the camera would be eventually would have the 37 degrees as well. So if you're looking for the temperature to trigger on the 37 degrees, you know, everything else will be triggered, I would say. Joe, thank you very much. Like you see, it's not much to set up within the camera. They're really good. The Hikvision, they prepare them, you know, perfectly fine for for an installation. In the case if you like to get them on site and install the cameras yourself, it's really straightforward. You can have a stand, you can have the camera under the ceiling. Just make sure it's not under just an air conditioner on the front of it, or just beside it. It would be useless then. So you need to make sure that it's really controlled environment. And as I said, I've noticed so many of them installations already been done, and some of them be used in the reception area, in the corridor, in the hotel or so, and they're really good. They're really picking up the right readings, and the people that they're coming in, obviously if they're coming in towards the camera, they need to be like, you can't just line them up on the front of the camera. They have to be like at least a 2 meters distance between them, so they're walking in, they stand up on the front of the camera for a second, then the next one goes on, and so on and so on. It's really important. I can send you the cool PDF with the guidelines how to set up this camera as well, just in the case if you like to, you know, see it yourself, read about it. But also this video would be available to watch again if you like to go to all settings and check what else needs to be checked on camera to adjust every single setup you have there. What else we have there? Of course you can, as I said, yeah, you can get the video later on. You can watch that as many times as you want. It will be available on my page and the FORTUS website as well. So any questions you have there, as always, you can send me an email. If you're looking for a price on this camera, it's not cheap, obviously, but it's really worthy. It's a great camera that how much you're going to spend on it, it's worth every penny. So if you like to order some of them, go to the guys in sales, to your account manager. They will look after you. Obviously, because you've watched until end of this video, pretty much we're nearly there. There will be some discount for you as well. Thank you very much for watching. I know I have a blue shirt again, but this is my favorite shirt, and I have it for every video once a week, which is obviously watched every time. The same with my what you call it, my dirty underpants as well. So no worries. We all at home, we all kind of, you know, sick of the situation now, but we have so many great tools these days that will help you to actually you know, fight this, and hopefully we're all gonna be fine. So if you, as I said, you have any questions, you can contact me directly. You can contact our sales department regarding the prices and quotations and the stock if you have there. As I know, there's plenty of orders going on. There's many of them been sold already. They've been installed all over the place these days. So if you contact your guys in sales, that'll be great. So thank you very much for joining this webinar. And the next one is regarding the intercom. The intercom itself it's really cool. This is a second generation intercom. So if you're looking for some information on the intercom, how to set up the intercom, how to pair the intercom, and this is going to be a modular intercom. So it will be a door station. There will be a multi-button module as well. How to program, how to address every module, how to connect them all together to get them working. It's really straightforward once you know, obviously, but you know, after the next one you will know, and you know how to set them up. Regarding the cameras, I know now I would say you'll be confident enough to install those cameras yourselves. It's really straightforward. Like you see, check boxes need to be checked, and distance and control environment is the most important. So I will see you hopefully next week. Thank you very much for joining, and take care. Stay safe, guys.